So this is going to be challenge assessment 2 for heat transfer by me, Hunter Casso. Just a quick overview of all the things that we're going to go over is goal 1, we're going to model a scenario as a thermal resistance network. I'm going to calculate the heat transfer rate, and then I'm going to find the temperature at the edges of the different mediums and visually represent them. Goal 2, change and analyze 3 parameters to see their effects on the system, analyzing the effects of the human body as an insulation. Based on the effects of change in design parameters and installation material, discuss ways to redesign to improve the scenario as a whole. Goal 3, background on the problem of energy insecurity. I'm going to qualitatively analyze single versus double pane windows. Discuss the societal implications of improving insulation and window efficiency. That includes an overarching thesis and supporting arguments. And 3 separate people's thoughts on it. So going over the problem a little bit, this is going to be the whole problem. I did number 4. It's a 4 meter by 6 meter long wall, constructed of 2 large 2 centimeter thick plates. With this K, separated by 1 centimeter thick and 20 centimeter wide steel bars placed 99 centimeters apart. Remaining spaces between the steel plates is filled with fiberglass insulation with this K. And the total temperature difference is 22 degrees Celsius from this side to this side. Then the model scenario, thermal resistance model, is going to be the R of the plate and R of the insulation. And this is going to be in parallel with the R of the bar. And then it's going to combine back together with the R of this other plate over here. How I got this heat transfer rate is going to be with combining this one in series with these two that are in parallel back into series with this one. So it was going to be R, and in my case I just used 2R because these are 2 of the same thing, times 1 divided by 1 over the R of the insulation plus 1 over the R of the bar. I use these equations here as this is my R, and then the Q dot of the wall was going to be the T2 minus T1 over R total. That's how I ended up getting the Q total of 486 temperatures at the edges of the different mediums. This was going to be T1, T2, T3, T4. These were the numbers that I got, and then just a little graph to show you that there's going to be a very slight drop off right here. And it's going to be a very large drop off between the insulation, which was just going to be right in here. And then it's going to be just a very slight drop off back down to here. So then goal 2, I'm going to be adjusting 3 parameters in the problem and analyzing the effects. Adjusting the parameters multiple times, exploring what range and step size is appropriate, making some conclusions. What is the goal of the ball? Assessing the parameters effects. Results, increased, enhanced, or degraded. Is there shift, linear change, exponential change? Adjusting all the parameters individually. Now I'm going to go over the human body's thermal conductivity and analyze the effects it could have. And then based on these effects, I'm going to go back and find a way to redesign and improve the scenario. So first I adjusted the insulation bar thickness. And this right here was our original one. So I found out that increasing or decreasing the insulation bar thickness is going to be very bad for the system. We're going to have a linear or non-linear decay down here. And then increasing is going to be very bad. So we would want to, in our case, increase the thickness by a little bit, and even increasing this insulation bar thickness by like a tiny bit is going to be very beneficial for our system. Then I went and decided to adjust the insulation K value, and I found out that decreasing it is going to be the only thing that's going to really have any effect on the system. So we had 0.035 as our original, and back here is going to be slightly better, but it's not like a crazy amount. So if this is crazy expensive, there's no real point to do it. Increasing is going to be very bad for the system. It's just going to create more Q dot or heat transfer rate. The Q dot is adjusting the steel plate thickness. The Q dot is going to be decreasing as it gets bigger and bigger, which if feasible, we want to actually increase our system and make it slightly bigger. We started right here. This is our worst value, our highest value. So if we were able to increase it by even, I mean that is a big stretch, but if we were able to increase it by a little bit, it'll just help to increase the total heat transfer rate, or decrease the total heat transfer rate and keep more heat and waste less energy. So then going over the insulation material, which was the human body, we have that these 4 different values. This is a standing posture, seated posture, and then the standing posture, seated posture. These were 2 different tests that they ran through. But as you can see, compared to the insulation that we had earlier, these are just incredibly bad values, and we are not a good insulator, and we should not be used as insulation. It's just a waste of energy. And this was the site I had down here. So then the final conclusions, based on the effects of changing design parameters and insulation material, this will help to improve the scenario, increasing the insulation bar thickness, decreasing the insulation K value, increasing the steel plate thickness. We need to do these things while making sure that they are feasible and strong enough to protect the wall in the case of the thickness, along with cost effective. We don't want to be wasting money to save a very, very little amount of heat. So goal 3 is going to be giving background on the problem of the energy insecurity, discussing and quantitatively analyzing the single versus double pane windows, and then discussing the societal implications of improving insulation window efficiency. So a little background on energy insecurity is a condition faced by households when they cannot readily afford or access sufficient energy for living and health-related needs. Addressing this energy equity would mean finding solutions that can be tailor-made to these people that are of the less fortunate, and help to actually solve this problem for them, to ensure that they have the ability to meet these energy needs, to improve their quality of life. And this was just a quote that gives a little bit more info from someone. Giving groups different types of tools such that they can equally take advantage of opportunities or reach desired goals, just kind of the whole brief overview of energy insecurity. And it's just a way that we want to help people that are less fortunate. Single versus double pane windows. Single is going to be wasted energy, basically. Every window anywhere that's trying to keep cold air or hot air out, we really want to be double pane, because that little gap of air in the middle is going to be a great insulator. And this just furthers that. Multi-pane glazing can significantly reduce the heat transfer on windows. This is just a different form of double pane windows. And my thesis is going to be improving insulation and window efficiency stands as a critical measure for achieving environmental sustainability, economic savings, and social equity, thus forming an essential component in the transition towards more resilient and equitable societies. And then the environmental sustainability is just going to be upgraded insulation and efficient windows, cut down on heating and cooling needs. Economic savings, if we're not having to waste money heating things every single day over and over and over, we're going to be saving money. Social equity, better insulation is going to help these lower income homes have to waste less money on heating or air conditioning. They're going to be able to live a more enjoyable, more comfortable life. Health and well-being, I mean, you don't want to be freezing in your house in the middle of the winter. You want to be comfortable. You don't want to be living in below 60-degree temperatures in the middle of the winter. It's not good for your health. It's going to be just adding stress, adding pain. It's not going to be overall a good thing. And then energy security is going to be enhanced building efficiency, reduces reliance on external energy sources, fortifying our nation's energy systems against fluctuations in fuel and supply prices. Societal implications of improving insulation and window efficiency. The energy and security framework includes physical, economic, and behavioral dimensions that lead to or exacerbate health issues. This is another quote. This just helps further that health and well-being is very important when it comes down to having good energy sources or good insulation sources, and this furthers the double window paned idea that we need these or even just some other form of insulation so that people aren't wasting energy getting hotter or getting colder in the middle of freezing seasons or very hot seasons. So people are more comfortable and they're not getting these bad diseases like strokes from being too hot, or like heat stroke from being too hot, or hypothermia from being too cold in the middle of the night in the middle of the winter. Thank you.